Hi, I'm Ben with Slap Stuff Together. Recently I had about 3 different people ask me to make these distressed beer totes. I've made them in the past and they seem pretty popular. So here's a video about how I batch them out. Alright, so I'm starting out by breaking down the quarter sheets of plywood. I'm doing them in 5.5-inch strips. And then I got my cross-cut sled and I set up a stop block and I'm cutting out the sides and cutting them at 11 inches. This makes fast work. I was able to cut out quite a few in a short amount of time. Here I'm adjusting my stop block for the next cut. This is going to be the bottoms, which I cut at 8.5 inches. And now I'm cutting out the sides. I'm cutting them pretty thin, so I thought it'd be safer to do it on the bandsaw. I'm just ripping them down to, I forget what it was, maybe like 1.5 inches or something along those lines. And then I'm just cutting them down to size there. Then I went back to the bandsaw and I cut out the angled sides for the side pieces of the beer tote. There's a good shot of my hand, but behind my hand is the drill press. I'm cutting out the holes for the handle of the beer tote. Roughly rounding over the edge with the bandsaw, and then I'm taking it over to the disc sander. I'm just smoothing all the corners and making that round over nice and neat. Right now I cut out one and I use it as a template to mark the rest. So I'm just marking all the holes that I'm going to drill. These are for the dowels that hold the beer totes together. And then after I marked them, I drilled them all out. I'm setting up a stop block again, and I'm cutting out the dowels for the handles. And I'm laying out all my pieces for all the beer totes, and I'm beginning assembly. And I'm just gluing them together and holding them together with clamps until the glue dries. And then I'm going to come back later and drill the holes for the dowels. And you gotta make sure everything's square, so I'm using that little square to do that. Right here to put the side pieces on, I have these blocks that are at the right height, so I can just get them all the correct height. And then I'm using the holes I drilled earlier to guide my drill bit to drill them to the side of the boards so that I could put the dowels in. The holes I helped earlier helped me not to blow out the side of the piece. And here's me starting the dowels. I just put some glue in the holes, pound in the dowels, and I use my saw to saw them flush. Bottle openers that I'm going to put on there. I needed spacers because the screws would have been too long. And here I'm sawing out the inserts with the crosscut sled. I'm just batching out the notches all in one cut, a gang cut, and they all go together pretty good. And that whole thing just drops right into the beer tote, and I did put some glue in there when I assembled them all. And I did a quick sanding on each one, and this is I'm starting the distress process. I'm just denting them, scratching them, and doing whatever, blow torching them. My first inclination wasn't to distress them. I made 3 different ones, and I accidentally sawed through the veneer on one of them, so I decided to distress it, and that ended up being the one that people liked, so that's what I did. And this is the final step of me putting the bottle openers on it. I just went to each one. It was pretty quick, just drilled a couple screws in. And they're all done. All the tools and objects I use will be in the description below. I'd appreciate it if you subscribed and commented and liked. Thank you.